Oh, guys, I really want to ask Abaddon about Bane and Vecna.
You should do it.
All right.
What's
okay.
the worst that
Okay.
could happen?
How would one address Abaddon the Despoiler? I think
How much HP have you got?
like 37.
Great.
Honored Lord Archon, I come beseeching your immortal wisdom. Would you do me the honor of identifying the name Vecna?
As you mentioned the name, unspeakable name to the only entity in Lukai who may remember it.
I think I fucked up.
Make a persuasion roll.
Natural one.
Wait, one second.
Cool. We'll leave that until next session.
Should I roll the new character for next?
For next time, that'd be great. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. Welcome. Sorry for the slight delay. We were working out some technical issues.
We're not delayed at all.
Oh
It's
no,
bang
we're dead on time.
7:30.
Sorry, there were no technical
I don't
issues. We are
fuck
perfect
around.
in every way. You do not fuck around. Holy shit. I'm in trouble. Thank you, everybody. My name is Jamie, and joining me tonight, as usual, are a group of fantastic D&D players. First of all, we have Ben as Mercy.
Oh, may thy knife chip and shatter.
Sai as Quan.
Hello. I have conflu, so I sound like shit.
Eski as Pod.
Hi, I don't have flu.
Clued as Casimir.
I have size conflict because we shared tiramisu and were up in each other's grill, but also the wheel weeds as the wheel wills.
I literally cannot say that. And Luke as Arthur.
Another one.
I'm going to blame hay fever for now, which is probably just in denial, but I've been sniffling all day as well. So if we sound bunged up, that's why. Before we begin, do we have any announcements?
No, probably not. I don't
Find out
think
later.
so. I'm not organised about announcements. We announce whatever the wind takes us. That's not.
Whatever the wheel wills.
Whatever the wheel wills, we announce. Which today is nothing.
I guess for the people who do follow the TikTok account, we have moved and we'll be posting stuff soon. That's kind of an announcement, I guess.
Yes.
I don't know if we ever talked about it. I should talk about it. We're very professional. Great. Otherwise, we are all good to start. So, as a reminder, last session, you guys finished up the party, did some downtime activities, finished off the shopping, and most importantly, began to prepare for the coronation ceremony. You got an idea of who was coming, including a couple of people who Casimir may or may not want to avoid. However, Mercy was summoned to attend a meeting with the leader of the Weavers, and believed that given their current connection to the Weave and Destiny, that may or may not Jorin had told the rest of the Weavers, would lead to their execution. Solemnly said goodbye to all of you. However, with the intervention of Quan, you all decided that it was perhaps in your interest to go look after him, and through some stealthy means, some attempting to be inspectors, learnt and eavesdropped on the meeting where Yorin had not told them about Mercy's connection for whatever reason. Understood that there were many things at play, and that the Weave was becoming increasingly difficult to read. But upon Mercy's revelation, Yazavu and the others voted to expel him, or at least that was the total vote. Whether or not that was each individual person's view, it was revealed by eavesdropping that Yazavu may intend to deal with Mercy in her own way, and you also overheard some chatter between some fairly prominent NPCs about the Shard of Unification, talking to them, met Lady Caria Montague, her son, the leader of Dominus, After which, you reconvened, actually having anxiety attacks about what this means, being expelled from the order, and you all eventually made it to the coronation thing. Alara was excited to show you all what had happened, where she was going to be crowned, but something overtook Quan, and Quan was forced to sit in the chair of the first plane, the lost plane, teleporting your conscience far, far away, deep beneath what you believe to be some part of Sacramar, or at least that area, to a tomb where the rest of you joined. Alara ran off to get help with Arthur standing watch. You opened the tomb to reveal what you believe to be an Archon, sword sheathed next to them. Quan felt that in that moment they could have given the power to this entity should they choose to. They did not choose to. And you saw some inscription which said, "Here lies Vecna, last servant of Bane, god of order." That's there's a lot of revelations there, clearly, amongst some other stuff. Namely, you have stuff to mull on, or stuff to move forward beyond the coronation. Are what were the leader of Dominus and and Lady Kari and Montague talking about? What is to happen with the Weavers? You now know that the lost plane is the plane of order. Why is it lost? Who is Vecna? Where was this? Are all questions you may or may not choose to investigate. It's been theorized that might have been the plane for a while, given that it is opposite the Ender Stream, arguably chaos incarnate. But this is confirmation, and it's confirmation that very few people in the world seem to possess. You mused about what to do, but your current immediate plan is to deal with Quan's excess of energy, excess of soul. And to that, Ilara has been asked to summon the Archon avatar, Morvel, soul guide of the Raven Queen. So I'm going to let you guys go back in.
It's Noctivale, right?
Noctivale, yes, Noctivale, which is the
That
original
name
one.
is much cooler.
It is much cooler, and I need to make sure all my notes are uniform. Noctivale, the soul guide. Lara has gone to summon them. So before they enter the room, I will throw it back to you one last time. They are on their way. You've had your revelation. You've talked a little bit about what happened in that tomb. Is there any other business you'd like to talk to as a group before you meet this person, and what their plans are? What your plans are?
This meeting's happening right now, rather than at the coronation.
Yes, Ilara was asked. You asked Ilara to go get them separately before the coronation, so that you could talk to them alone.
Okay, well, maybe Casimir will turn to Pod and say, "Listen, Pod, her whole thing is helping souls and the dead pass on. I imagine as a necromancer, I probably epitomize everything she doesn't want to exist in the world. So I'm going to suggest I don't do very much talking. Or really, we just try to stay away from my specialty, perhaps. I'll try and, turn away so the skulls and things on my outfit aren't too obvious. If you need any clarification on the, magical elements, I'll give them. Just, I think there's one best suited to you rather than me."
I'm nodding along, yeah, definitely. That's not a bad idea. I'll remember that, along with all the other things I have to remember.
Yes, yeah, try not to tell her I'm a necromancer. That will make me an abomination in her minds, as I am in many others. But watch out for that one.
It kind of pauses before you. One question. In the place that we just went but didn't go, that thing that I can't remember its name, wanted to take the power? Maybe we can just give the power away, to the Raven Queen.
Maybe.
I'm gonna ask her. I'm gonna say, "Do you want the power? You can just have it. We don't want it. We don't want the power."
Yes, although what I will say, that feels a little kingmakery, doesn't it? I mean, doesn't that sort of enough power to destroy a god would probably significantly empower one, no? Isn't that sort of maybe? Let's see what she says.
He kind of pauses and then
It is.
I'll consider that, but we're running out of time for an idea.
Yes, it's comprised of the souls of several thousand dead people, so, I mean, ethically, maybe she'll have some concerns. Maybe she won't, who knows?
I'm not going to lie, that's all I've got right now.
Well, my suggestion is we try and just help it pass on naturally, and the Raven Queen does her thing and extracts them safely and ferries them on to the great beyond as they ought to have gone.
That's a great idea. That's better than offering unimaginable power. We'll try that one first.
Right, and if that fails, then it's power overwhelming, yes.
Kind of nods and like you can see him muttering to himself, kind of like almost like he's nervous before an interview, you know?
Yeah, he's like running through his interview answers, and I feel like everyone in the party probably knows that it's Pod, so he's definitely not going to remember this. I think Casimir's just frowning at him in concern. It says nothing.
Any input?
Just to check, are we all in the room together?
You are,
currently?
yes.
Yeah.
Great news.
Ilara has gone together. Okay, any input or discussion from anybody else?
I think Arvis will just say, I have to say, friends, I've not felt so out of my depth in quite some while. It does feel as if you might be speaking in giant. I don't know.
Wait, sorry, what was that?
Arvis simply said, communicated the fact he is a simple man, and to him, you speak another language.
It's not of the gods and Archons.
Honestly,
And kings.
I wish I could say this is my purview, but this is somewhat beyond anyone, I think. So the sooner it's hoisted from our control, the better, I think. Not least because we can't have Quan arbitrarily sitting in chairs that transport us all to goodness knows where. Maybe next time we feel the need to sit in a chair, we can spot check it for you, I don't know. Do a chair check.
Figure that
Whatever
out.
we think
It was not
least
a
anything.
conscious decision. I did not have control over my body, but yes, I will try and let you know if it happens again.
Maybe never sit in a chair again, just sort of eliminate that as a possibility. Just ideating here. No such thing as bad ideas, they say.
I don't think the chair was the issue, but it's...
Maybe don't
Thank
sit in
you.
particularly decadent looking chairs. Like maybe just stick to kind of like, you know, more just regular looking like bar stools.
Stools, yes, maybe backless chairs. Maybe it's the high back that's the problem. Look, I'm a little nervous about this conversation as well. Where's Alara?
Okay. The door opens. It should be middle of the day, but somehow it is dark. No. Door opens and slightly, she scuttles in a little bit. And following behind is a... I'm going to pronounce this correctly. For something that to be a Shardakai. An elf that has bound themselves to the service of the Raven Queen and long ago has had their form and body twisted by that. But you can't see many of their robes. They're wearing a kind of white-black is very much the aesthetic. White robe draped across the thing, long white dress, but with kind of black garments hanging off. Not the big white hat though. There is, however, kind of raven motifs sewn into it. The face, however, is one that almost seems like kind. There's no malice, and the steps are quite gentle as she walks forward. And Ilara kind of says, "Oh, Destiny's boys, allow me to introduce Noctival, the Soul Guide, Archon of the Raven Queen, who I believe you have some questions for." And she kind of dons her head ever so slightly in respect and kind of looks expectantly around each one of you. And it's strange that the look isn't inherently threatening, but her eyes linger for a second on two of you, Pod four of you. Horizon Inger on all of you. I suppose, what would she have issues? She has issues with all of you, actually.
Is it an appreciative glance? Is she lingering on my
This has escalated very quickly.
Right, so I'll talk about it. Mercy is like...
The cringe just broke my immersion of Destiny's Boys. Can I just say that?
Yeah.
Mm.
She looks at Mercy and pity. Slight scorn at Casimir.
Only slight. That's not bad.
Similar scorn at Pod. Pity
Wow.
to Esky.
Esky.
Intrigue.
Wait.
No, sorry, pity to Esky. Wait, what's wrong with me? Pity for Arvis.
Pity.
I had a
for
really long
Arvis.
day, guys. Just
It's alright. I just was worried
Pity for
that
Arvis.
she was staring through my soul.
And
the
intrigue
screen.
and confusion at Quan, but nevertheless, she asks you to talk.
She scorned through Pod into Esky.
She scorned Pod, therefore she pities Esky.
Me, where's my pity?
My pity.
You don't get pity, only scorn. I get both. That's so exciting.
Okay.
I feel like there would be like almost a slightly too awkward silence.
Yeah,
Where
that's
no
fine.
one,
An awkward
no one
silence.
says anything for just like a good like 10 seconds. Like, everyone's kind of like expectantly looking at each other like someone's gonna speak first.
Casimir's just staring deep into Pod's soul like, it's your moment, buddy.
Your Highness Majesty Archon. I actually don't know what your title should be. Archon? It's not Majesty. Majesty's too. That's
She looks
king.
incredibly perplexed and kind of hands together and just turns to you. Whatever you wish.
It's a great honor to meet you. We as a group have a predicament of such that I was hoping you could enlighten us with maybe a suggestion or even maybe just solve the problem. That'd be amazing. But I'm not imposing by any means. It's more the suggestion side. You see, we have our good paladin friend here, very good paladin, paladin of Tyr.
Great paladin.
Great guy, honest
We
guy.
make the best paladins. Literally the best paladins.
The best paladin. Pesky paladins.
Honest guy. What? Pesky paladin. One of the greatest guys.
Pesky Quan. Nasty paladin.
He's not nasty. He's the opposite of nasty.
You don't
And
know
I believe that, and that's all that is important. He I don't know if you can see because he looks a little bit, just maybe a bit hot at the moment, but actually it's because we put he was unfortunately infected with lots of blood magic, and we're trying to get rid of it.
Unfortunately.
It was an accident. He kind of goes quite
Deception
high
check.
at the end of that statement. He's like, it was an accident.
Deception or persuade deception.
I feel it was an accident.
Deception. It was okay. So it was honestly, it's more persuasion because he's almost gaslighting himself. Am I allowed
I
that?
feel like
whatever
did
whatever in the
not.
moment you think is more appropriate.
Pod
I
did
mean,
not
but
intend this outcome,
my
right?
deception is +0. My deception is +0. So yeah, it does make a difference really. It's dealer's choice. It was an 8.
Yep.
As to be expected. I think that's about right, actually.
Sounds about
pretty
right.
on brand. We may have, in the process of dealing with a grave threat in the Stormlands, almost unleashed a large amount of stored blood magic that was supposed to kill a god, and we may have it was put into our paladin. He kind of gestures with both hands. And we need it out of the paladin because it will kill him, and that is not desirable. It's not his time to die. I think.
Jamie, just a quick progress check on like how the meter is filling up in response to Pod's. How's she doing in reaction to this?
Looking at Pod, almost as if she's like explaining, like a child is explaining why they shit themselves.
Oh
We're
no!
like super naughty children right now, right?
Yeah. The magic was put inside them. Well, in order to understand how to get it out, you need to explain that process.
So, it's a
That's
bit
gonna elbow,
complicated.
isn't it?
When we found it was like a big egg of blood magic, and we thought it would be a good idea to destroy it because it's very evil and bad. And
Yes.
when we destroyed it, we somewhat overlooked the idea of where it would go, and it exploded. And in a moment of, kind of shrugs and looks for the word panic, I may have pushed it into the paladin. Well, I didn't really think it through that much. I'm actually amazed I even did it in the first place.
So just your run-of-the-mill contagion of ethereal power, you know.
To be perfectly clear,
No.
Archon, the intended use of the magic was the destruction of a divine entity through use of the Whirlwind Lantern. We absolutely could not let that come to pass, and our attempts at destroying it was to prevent this damnable outcome by any means possible. Our actions were in good faith, only it would seem that all of that energy has ended up, as Pod said, inside our paladin. And though Quan is a admirable soul and would happily give his life to mitigate the explosion, I think we're quite desperate not only to save our friend's life, but also to ensure that several thousand individuals who comprise this blood magic, they are returned to where they ought to have passed on to. And we were
It is.
hoping-
I hope you would agree it is unnatural that they should be trapped in. Well, I mean, it's not bad for them to be trapped in. Paladin is perfectly nice, but then it's not where they should be.
If I was going to be trapped anywhere, I would choose Quan. It's true.
Put the hands up at that. I understand your predicament. Would you lay down your life for the souls inside? That's to Quan.
If it was required of me, of course.
This should have killed you. You know that.
I am starting to become more and more aware, yes.
Sounds back to Pod. And you saved him? Or you did this to him?
I cannot in good faith say that I saved him from this particular predicament. It's somewhat my fault in the first place.
You follow Kellimore, correct?
He is. Yeah, absolutely, yes.
Odd. And you're aware of how your actions reflect on your faith.
He looks a tiny bit befuddled. He's somewhat positive, I hope. I imagine this is maybe a bit of a black mark on the record. Obviously not ideal, but perhaps can, recover from this particular hiccup?
You have come to me to correct an unfortunate destined death, and you carry around the soul of another.
I carry around a what?
Certainly have a penchant for denying your god's purpose.
Not entirely sure what you're getting at, I'm afraid. I'm not following.
No,
The
he's
shield.
not married, mate. He's single as can be.
Oh, is that your partner's soul in your shield or someone else's?
That's my brother's shield.
Hang
Your
on.
brother's your partner?
I was not a partner to my brother in. No, not really. He had a partner. I think he was a. I mean, they worked together. They work. You know, Sentinels. They went around in pairs. They kind of had like a buddy system. I wasn't that. I was never a Sentinel. I was not very good at
Where are you? I don't recognize your accent. Where are you from?
Thugalum.
Not a very direct people, are you?
I mean, some of us are a bit more direct than others. I'm not. I've never been one for confrontation. I will be honest. It's not
There is
really
a
my
soul.
forte.
Inside that shield. One that is
There is
attached to you.
There is a soul in the shield. Is it? It's not
Would
mine.
you like
I'm
to speak
assuming.
to it?
It depends whose it is, really. If it's not a good person, I guess it should probably leave. And if it's someone nice, then maybe I could say hi, I guess.
We'll deal with this contradiction in terms before I perhaps deal with... Sorry, after I deal with perhaps the more pressing one. I'm sorry, Quan? Correct?
Yes, that's right.
May I have your hand?
It's a 50-50.
Does
I
she
simply-
look like she understands the consequences of that?
I simply wish... She sees your trepidation. I simply wish to examine the scale of the problem.
Well, I don't wish to hurt you, but... And he puts out his hand.
Okay. It does, you see, vaguely begin to burn, and her eyes go, like, completely black for a second. And stay still. She kind of pulls her hand back. Quan, in that connection, you did feel like, not reaching out, but something almost feeling or sensing through you, and the minute it got even close to the energy inside you, it pulled back. Like, kind of wasn't attempting to grab it in any way. This... understand your problem. There is a way of solving this, clearly. Quan's death would necessitate the return of this energy to the life stream. If that is what you wish to avoid, there is a ritual that can be performed, but I will need you to accompany me to my temples and residence in Arafrafa. How do you pronounce that, Clued?
Al-Arafa, DM.
Al-Arafa,
That is what
thank
you have
you.
called your city.
That's what I have called my city that I'm now attempting to
Yes.
pronounce. Al-Arafa.
Yes.
It's basically the Fiery City of the Dead, so it's not like I came up with the word.
DM, point of order. In my opinion, you're slightly too close to your microphone audio-wise.
Sorry,
You'll
thank
get
you,
more
fine.
clarity if it's
Yep.
a little bit further away.
Al-Arafa. I will need you to accompany me after the ceremony.
Insight check.
Yep. Sure.
Can I also make the same roll?
Yep.
I'm suspect.
That's a,
Wow.
We're sus of everyone.
Fuck this game.
that's a 22.
22.
Mm-hmm.
17. I can't do much better than that, you see.
12.
So with the 17, what are you attempting to glean?
I want to know if
Does
there's sort
she-
of like power-hungry
Oh.
eyes. Is she making eyes at Quan? Is she like, yes, I'm going to take this nubile young paladin back to my temple and
Oh my God.
slurp the energy
Wow.
away?
Wow.
Oh fuck! What? Shut up!
I hate that word too.
Why did you have to say that? Slurp
suck.
is not a nice word.
Well,
No,
It's
like,
ability.
extract.
there is a passive way she's speaking. So it's very difficult to discern, but there is no power hunger in there. I'll say with the 12, you get the same thing. With the 22, you're as kind as this image may be, as softly as she has been spoken, Quan, there is a complete indifference to your fate. Either option is acceptable to her, and neither would cause her any loss of sleep or issue. So whilst the ritual may work, and she may believe it works, if it doesn't, she has absolutely no issue with the other option. And it's not genuine care or kindness radiating. It's the complete indifference of the grave.
Well, I suppose it couldn't hurt to try, although you'll have to permit my friends to come with us in case something happens.
Why, certainly. The energy inside you, as I'm sure you've all realized now, of the souls of countless who should have made their way past the journey now, and any such extraction will require a significant anchor and guiding hand.
Yes, that's what I thought. I'm a wizard with some aptitude for the transfer of energy, and yes, I've reached the same conclusion. An anchor stronger than myself would be necessary. So if you can provide that, or the ritual can substitute for that, I would be most
It will
curious.
be a component within the ritual. I do not have one in my possession.
I see. Presumably, given the Whirlwind Lantern was the intended recipient of the energy, it could be placed in there.
We still have the lantern.
Yes, I sense I could have started the transfer, I just would have obliterated myself in the process. So, that's on the table.
It is an artifact with which I am unfamiliar, but I could certainly investigate if it would be a useful proxy.
Good. We are in possession of it, so perhaps we can arrange a time for you to observe it.
That would be good. Otherwise, I have means to transport you all very quickly to where the temple and the ritual could take place.
Oh, that's very convenient, and thank you.
Goodness.
As for you, turns to Pod.
Wait, before you say anything, you have to understand that there was no ill intention in Pod's actions. At least, I don't believe there was. We were faced with a difficult situation in which this power may have fallen into the hands of the wrong person, and Pod didn't want to risk the many souls that... Anyway, I truly believe that, and I truly believe that we were trying to do the right thing, so please don't judge my friend.
I can understand the powers involved here are slightly beyond what may have been considered in the moment. I can allow some understanding of this event. But that shield, that soul trapped there,
He
looks
very
at
sheepish.
Pod. You understand.
I'm not sure I do, actually.
You understand what your god thinks of souls trapped,
Generally not
kept
very
beyond their
favourable.
time.
Generally, not very favourable. Well, I mean, we could get rid of it if that would be better. I wasn't aware. That's a mistake. It can happen. Mistakes do happen. we could just pass it on.
Were you aware that there's a soul trapped in your shield?
Oh, to the point. How
Kind of
was I
turns
not
to Quan.
aware?
He's like, no, I was not aware there was a soul trapped in my shield.
But neither of us
This is
has
quite
spotted a fucking soul in your shield. Isn't that what we
This
do?
is quite embarrassing, actually.
Okay, so how do we actually know that there's a soul in the shield?
She could be lying.
Well, I mean, she said it. Like, why would we? You're embarrassing me in front of the Archon.
I'm sorry. I'm just checking.
It is humiliating that neither of us knew. I agree. Sorry,
I'm not
Archon.
lying, and reaches over and taps Pod's shield. Pod, you and your thing. Hey up, it's been fucking ages.
Why I, man? Why I wish
Pod, you waste. It's not going to do that accent for too long.
Mance Raider's army. Is that wall?
The village, Pod. Go back. Kareen, we have to stop. What, you hear the voice of your brother, Modi, loudly in your head.
Assume memes aside, I'm going to assume that this is my brother.
Yeah. He says.
He got his
I can
freezes.
talk.
He is freezing. Wait. What on earth are you doing here? You did.
I.
What do you mean I? You can't just say I. Well, you did. You died. I watched you die. Well, I didn't watch you die, but someone watched you die. I saw the body. We buried you.
Then I woke up here. And I'm bloody fed up.
Sounds like he's mad at the fucking post office scandal.
My package is not over 2 kilos.
Sorry, I actually need a Guinness for this.
Wait, is he drinking Guinness from Paladin's accent? Does he know that that's...
He's got to get props.
You know, you should do. I discovered a cocktail called the Oil Slick. It's WKD and Guinness together. It sounds disgusting.
Jesus.
Might be
Mate.
it might be appropriate.
Jamie, you are too posh London for that accent, man.
Yeah, and
Love
that's
it,
why
though.
it's coming out now, and it's going to be gone in about 2 sessions.
I love it so
Yeah, you
much.
can't pull that accent out while also wearing that fit.
You need to throw in a couple of like air duck. Just throw in a duck every now and then.
You'll be re-
A duck.
No, you're East Manchester.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Anyway, yeah, so where were we? So Pod has just completely frozen and started talking to himself. And Noctival's like, stepped back, folded her arms, and pointedly looked at people who called her a liar.
Well, we shouldn't trust too readily, should we? Looks a bit, you know.
Pod, I assume, upon getting scolded by his older brother, just kind of like turns to the Archon and goes, "You can put him back, right? You can put him back. You can go back."
She reaches out, taps the shield, and you see there's like a momentary like fight. But he won't leave, and he swore at me a few times actually.
He won't leave.
Either he's connected to the shield or you. One of them.
Stubborn bastard.
Sometimes a soul is meant to remain, Archon.
If you're doing extractions, I have one too.
Looks
I
at you.
accidentally picked up.
Oh, you weren't referring to your soul.
No, I have a spare. I'm being haunted. I don't know why.
Deception check.
I so badly want to give you my one. So badly. but I'm not going to.
Deception. Okay, so that's. I think I have reasonable. That's
Can I
90.
give Casimir disadvantage?
Yeah, if you want to not help.
I just like
They just roll
Right.
their eyes.
Casimir, like-
give Casimir disadvantage.
when Casimir like bats his eyelashes and goes, I don't know why I'm being haunted. One just lets out a fucking snort as he says that. Is that good enough to give him disadvantage?
Yeah.
Is this couch PvP or is it just
12.
She puts out a hand and beckons.
He gingerly steps forward.
Show me this haunting.
Show you. Well, I all right. He'll expend a hit dice and manifest Mateus.
Okay, Mateus will turn around and
Strange
say,
arcane talent. This.
Mateus will turn around and say, I thought we would. No, that's not the accent. I thought we were done. Why have you summoned me again?
Oh, no, we're not done. Well, hopefully we'll be done after this. Hopefully you'll be extremely done.
She sighs and waves her hand, and Mateus vanishes. Try again.
All right. I will expend another hit dice to manifest Mateus. And each time he does this, like you see, like the white tips of his hair extend inwards, and like energy directly leaches out of him. So it looks quite like a painful process, but
Yeah.
yeah.
That's fine, because as Mateus reappears, he is instantly disappeared, and she grabs you by the neck and holds you up in the air, like Casimir's feet dangling slightly.
How tall is she?
She's about 6'5", but this is like an
What?
unnatural amount of strength.
Oh my God.
Christ.
Oh, she's
Mummy
fragile.
qualities? Mummy
Okay.
qualities.
Oh, I'm kind of here for that. I mean,
Sorry.
However you did that, never do it again.
I was hoping you could make it so that I didn't have to or couldn't.
He's not haunting you. You're calling him back.
You won't leave.
He can't leave. He's where he's supposed to be.
What am I supposed to do? Just never have help? Never have support?
Grip tightens ever so slightly.
I don't want him.
The rest of you can do whatever you want. You're all here.
Can I just gently, Mercy will just go, as I go over, just gently put a hand on one of the hand's arms, look straight into the Archon's face, and say, remember, Archon, even you're bound by some rules. Casimir
What?
doesn't end today.
Quan does not do anything gently. He just suddenly goes, unhand Casimir! This instant.
She looks directly into Mercy's eyes and very begrudgingly let go. Casimir, you drop to the floor.
Kind of straightens and, pulls his tunic down, his vest, readjusts his cuffs and says, was that a no to extracting him then?
Gone. Abomination.
There it is. Fine. Good. Sorry I asked.
Casimir, for the sake of Quan, please hold your tongue.
It's being held. Inly.
Modi. Mouthy one, that one.
Is this campaign just going to be Modi, like,
Shade.
No, the magic.
shading with the
Yeah.
party?
God.
Love it. Doesn't know when to shut up. I mean, neither do I, but you know, I'm not one to judge.
Ilara's like, this has all got a little out of hand. Oh gosh. Evelyn.
It's like he held aloft by one hand. He like Vader choked.
Ilara, you're about to be crowned. You need to be able to deal with this shit, okay?
Okay. Drinks? Anyone?
Ilara, you don't call for drinks. You smooth this over.
Right. Casimir, I'm sure that now you've learned that that is something you shouldn't be doing, that you won't do it anymore, right?
I thought you were ready for this.
Oh,
She
Archon, Archon, kind of grabs Archon's hand. I'm sure there are preparations to be done, and thank you so much for offering your help. I'm sure they appreciate it, and Archon allows herself to be guided out. Unless there's anyone else, the rest of you can talk.
Casimir's going to
We can
nudge Pod
cover
and be
all
like,
these-
say yes to the City of the Dead. We have to go.
I mean, is it still an option?
Yes, of course it is.
Oh, okay, that's great then. That's fine. I was really worried that she'd, you know, kind of take that one back.
No, it's fine.
So we're going to the City of the Dead, and that's going to save Quan from death.
Yes. And while we're there,
Kind of like looks a little bit pained. He's like, "Do you think we could bring a couple of diamonds just in case?"
I think we probably ought to, Pod, although I suspect there won't be much left of Quan's soul to return should that explode. I suspect he will be utterly eradicated from existence. But
You can't hear
can
this.
try. Probably.
Maybe if he wears his armor the whole time, gotta keep him in one place.
Right. There are regeneration spells if you can keep all the bits around, I suppose. I'm not worried
Okay.
about the physical dissolution, it's the spiritual. I suspect there just won't be a Quan to call back, but we won't reach that point. So, hypothetical, of course.
I suppose it would be wise for you, Quan, to prepare your last will and testament.
True.
What is a last will and testament?
Like a legal document.
And as the adjudicator and accountant of such matters, naturally, I will see your will is done.
I
Well, I
believe.
don't really have any possessions or anything, really, or memories either, so I don't think there's really much to write down.
I believe legal documents are my domain. And you turn to see an impossibly attractive red male tiefling
Is this real?
standing there. Yeah. Varos Fatebinder.
Raphael.
Who only Arthas,
It's
sorry,
Raphael.
only Arthas recognizes as the tiefling that you saved a long time ago, who kind of unfolds his arms and says, I was hoping I'd be able to catch you. Thank you in person. And he kind of bows before all of you.
Bows.
This guy.
Wait, when
You're
did we
more
say
than
that?
welcome, mate. What do we owe the pleasure, might I ask?
No pleasure. I just wanted. I'm in town. Delegations, you understand, and I believe I owe each of you my freedom, if not my life. I'm not quite sure what that nasty little man's plan was for me. So thank you.
Arthas, do you know who this man is?
Indeed I do. This man is the signature of the prize script in which I hold in my possession. A deed of some...
You did get it. I'm glad.
Yeah, well, I might have received a small something, yes.
An old acquaintance or a new friend?
And he clears his throat vulgarly. Nah, mate. This fucking bloke we rescued, didn't it? From the, when we was creeping about at night time. You remember?
Oh, when you
Under cover of
rescued.
dark.
When you
We
rescued
rescued
Alara.
Alara. Yeah, that's her name, right? Alara's how you say it.
That is, yes, how you say Alara's name. I've known her for 3 months, Arvis.
Yeah, most of my life, actually. Yeah.
Oh, he doesn't look very much like he did.
Oh, human guys.
Well, actually, I did have a question for you, mate, and that is...
Of course.
Very kindly written up such terms of quite a powerful assistance, potentially. How did you get captured, mate? Huh?
I was sent to investigate some oaths that had been broken. I made my way here, and okay, I'm bluffing. I was captured in my sleep. We do need to sleep. It does happen. They clamped me with those manacles, anti-magic, and I was as useless as anybody else. I was sent on a mission, but it's not for you to know. I wish it was more heroic,
Right,
but
mate.
sometimes, subtlety gets you what you want.
Nah, mate, if you've not been raided in your sleep, you're not working hard enough, eh?
Quite, if you haven't made enemies that would grab you during the wee hours of the morning, what fun are you having?
That's right, mate. But there's a small question that does wreck my mind. I hope you don't find it too direct, if I may ask.
Oh, of course.
Nah, it's a simple question, mate, and that is, what the fuck are you anyway, eh?
Oh my god. Arvis, you can't just ask that. What the fuck?
He smiles. In all my long years, genuinely the first time been asked that question. I'm a poet, an artist, a performer, a lover of letters. Most of all, I believe you're referring to the fact that I'm a devil in service of
Yeah, mate.
Asmodeus.
How'd you keep the torches on at night, mate?
With magic.
Alright.
A devil in service to Asmodeus, who, as I pointed out, owes you a favor, and often those who come seeking favors need one, so I just suppose I was curious about the delay as well.
Well, mate, I suppose I should clarify that myself and my companions here, and he goes around and names everybody individually. Puts a hand on his back and he introduces them like as if you just shake their hands. Does he shake their hands individually? Or?
Yes, your companions.
That's right. Well, I suppose you could say each of us individually had a slight spot of good luck occasionally along the way. But we were close at one point to needing your services. Dare I say we persevered?
I'd call it skill, not luck, Arvis, but yes. We're saving you for a rainy day.
Oh, I do hate the rain.
Bring an umbrella.
Arvis, it occurs to me that we are embarking on a risky venture after this coronation, and, well, maybe a little insurance might go a long way.
Yes, what do you have in mind, friend?
Well, we've conversed with one Archon who seems to offer a promising solution. Maybe two would be good.
Right, as in a solution to our Archon problem?
Indeed, that's the one I'm referring to.
What do we know about Asmodeus as Archon? Do we think this guy is he?
No. Asmodeus' Archon is called Pytharos the Flamebound. You know that this man is a member of the Sulfur Syndicate,
Right.
Asmodeus' spy network.
What? So the guy's name is Fire. He works for Fire, and his business is Fire.
No. So a reminder, Archons have titles. Those aren't their real names. Noctival is not the real name. They are appointed to the office, and that comes with it. This man is called Varus Fatebinder, and he's a member of the Sulfur Syndicate. Separate man, Archon Pytharos the Flamebound, is the Asmodeus's.
Fire the Firebound.
Of course, and his
The Fireman.
Yes.
Fireman, the fire of the firebound.
Yes.
the Flammen Manor.
Yes.
Sick.
Well, I suppose we are in something of a bit of a pickle right now, and parlaying with somebody is the Archon's left the room, right?
Let's
Yeah,
keep it an option. Keep our options open, gentlemen. I would more than gladly entreat with Asmodeus and Asmodeus' circle, should necessity arise. But, do you have a title? It's Varos? What would you like us to call you?
Varos will do for you, darling.
Our friend Varos. Our friend Varos is offering a, I hope, no strings attached assistance. Perhaps we could be
No, but no
flexible with it.
I am keenly aware of all the nasty little ambitions or reasonings one has for every action they perform, and I sensed no such in your freeing of me. You simply did it for good. And as such, one good turn returns another. As I said in the letter, a favor, no strings attached.
Insight
No
check this guy.
understandings.
Yeah,
go for
Jamie,
it.
2 questions. First question is, can I insight check this
Oh,
guy?
Yeah.
Second question is, how does Tia feel about Asmodeus? Just
So in this world, they're allies. Asmodeus is the opposite, the high heavens, judgment, justice, virtue. But the opposite isn't evil, scum, villainy. It's retribution. Yeah, the yin and the yang. Asmodeus in this is the lord of the realm of retribution, and he punishes evildoers and upholds oaths. One of the things is that if you make an oath during the month of the realm of retribution, Asmodeus is personally responsible for ensuring its thing. It is one of the ironclad ways to make, and these are what something like the Sulfur Syndicate exists, because agents do go out and ensure that these are upheld. So they are lawful evil in the extent that they are bound to make agreements that they will try to go to the letter on, but Asmodeus himself does punish evildoers. So Tyr doesn't hate him. It's not like the god and devil, right?
DM, if evil, why sexy?
Because
Okay.
evil for you. That's the question. The answer.
Where does the hotness of this guy come from? I imagine it's just he's got really good hair and teeth.
Describe
What we saying?
I'm gonna go back to my notes. Give me a second. I have notes.
But you've said
so fucking
impossible.
glad I
He's a
didn't
tall, He's tall. So at the moment,
Mhm.
slightly horns protruding
me.
them, but he's a tall, slender man, slicked back raven hair, very sharp jawline, piercing blue eyes, kind of dissect upon you. Aristocratic, slightly perfect appearance, dressed incredibly tailored, dark shades, intricate patterns. Around his neck, there's a silver pendant with the emblem that depicts a set of scales, kind of balanced on them. Looks like Timothy Chalamet, very esque. If you're into that, obviously everybody has a type. We'll
Doesn't
come
it
to the
competition,
himbos
man?
later.
I was gonna say, Casimir versus this guy. I mean, is he feeling threatened?
There's
Well, it's
something
not you.
ethereal about him. Like Casimir, at least, is real. You can look at this guy. This isn't his true appearance. This is clearly some type of glamour.
I'm not interested in.
So it's like ethereally perfect and therefore a bit unnerving.
Whereas I'm just really perfect.
So you weren't feeling it.
Insight check on whether or not he's lying.
This is a conversation
No,
Casimir has
I
been
like-
having with himself in his head. He's just been assessing whether or not.
You like
you know.
natural, no makeup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Charisma. Any insight checks, or did my answer kind of reveal it?
Yeah, fucking flat 8 from me, man.
Okay,
13.
17.
17,
A
13.
semi of an 8.
13, 17, no, he hasn't asked anything of you yet. Like, you're getting the sense that he is genuinely perplexed and interested, but there's no, like, he's curious. I think if you probably could infer from what he said earlier that often people come because they need something from him, and to offer something to someone and them not need it immediately, or like think he's genuinely a bit like, what's your deal, guys? Like,
So I'm not
What's
getting
going
the
on?
sense-
sorry.
So I'm not getting the sense of an ulterior motive.
The ulterior motive is he's genuinely curious. Like, if you guys wanted to make a deal with him or do something, he'd probably be up for it, but he's not like egging for that. He is genuinely come here to A, say thank you, genuinely, and B, he's like, what is up? You haven't called on me. I left my number. What do you...
You don't return my calls.
Got up his glamour next time, that's what. I need to call back.
In all seriousness, there are a great deal of things which we are wrestling with, which we may well require assistance with from someone such as yourself. I think what we are striving to do is handle what we can within our own quite considerable means. Not least, it's an opportunity for growth. Wouldn't want to foist my problems off when I could solve them myself.
It's very admirable of you all.
Varos, the Fatebinder, I wonder if you indulge some curiosity about your relationship and station to the various, persons within the realm of retribution, particularly your Archon, or the Archon of Asmodeus, will be here tonight, and I'm just, are you in concert with them, or do you work sort of outside of their sphere?
Interesting question. Yes, I of course returned to Asmodeus' service post my release, and was promptly returned to this rather dreary corner of the world to keep gathering information about what was to happen here, who was to take charge. I see you all saw to that. So I suppose interesting to be able to report back about what happened there. I am not unfortunately the leader of the Sulphur Syndicate. They keep themselves hidden, and I cannot reveal that information. So I am here as their representative with our Archon, yes. Your question is broad, I suppose. Would you like to know who my pen pals are, who my chefs are, or who I speak to on a daily basis? Or is this more about how important I am? What type of ally do you have?
I suppose rather more the latter. Your potential sway with the Archon, for example. We had an interesting interaction with the Noctivale this evening, and well, just would like to know whether you...
She's odd, isn't she?
Really, really distasteful the way she behaved, actually.
Oh, I'm
I
so
thought it was quite
sorry.
reprehensible.
I might say so myself. I'm familiar with her choice of perfume, and is consequently very cheap.
I thought so
Oh.
too.
I thought she was quite restrained, Casimir, considering.
You started choking me, Mercy. I don't call that
Oh,
restraint.
did you?
Didn't
What did
even
you do?
She didn't even take me out for dinner first. I asked her for help.
Yeah, but you were still blushing, weren't you, cunt, eh?
Listen, it's not every day you get choked by an Archon, is it?
One looks
You
scandalous.
live a very dreary life.
Well, listen, I would love to brighten up my day anytime. So if you have suggestions or contacts, please.
I'm sorry, I forgot the initial question. It's about how important I am or what I can do for you. Or
No,
whether or not I enjoy getting choked by an Archon.
Do you?
I haven't had the pleasure.
What scale of problem, Varos, is appropriate to request your assistance with?
Well, lots of people come to me for slight shifts in their fortunes, but I have a wealth of knowledge about arcane items, history, where lost relics can be found. I would say that I can't undo what has already been done. But in the moment, if you were to call out that you wanted a certain outcome, a roll of the dice, turn of the car, turn of the wheel, I most certainly could alter that. If you want me to stop a city being destroyed, we might need a little bit more preparation, butterfly effect and all of that, but I can certainly see quite far, and ripples can spread. I'm being vague, I know, but your problems are so varied. Simply put, I have access to a large wealth of knowledge with which I would happily depart some of it, or if something you don't like is happening to you and you want it to stop, then let me know.
Okay, that's helpful. Thank you.
In short, this devil is dangerous. And I think you would all have seen Mercy's tone and look, I think, as Varus has kind of said this, to have changed and become very frosty.
Oh, I wouldn't worry yourself. Rarely does it interfere with whatever you seek to preserve. I too am bound by things, and often requests are such fickle things. People ask for things not really knowing what they want, and when they get what they want, they're not happy.
Wise words. Well, Mercy, we have an option. Let's not toss it aside before we've even considered it, yes?
My official title is Emissary of Smoke. I am the 6th most senior member of the Sulphur Syndicate.
Sorry, Emissary of Smoke is such fucking sick title. You want the smoke? I got a fucking Emissary of Smoke.
That's cool. That's very cool.
That's very cool, Casimir says aloud.
Thank you.
Wow.
It's mine, don't steal it.
No, I need to think of something equally good for myself.
Anyway, I think we've held this up a little long, but genuinely, it's been a pleasure to meet all of you. Most curious to meet people who don't need me in some way. Refreshing. Almost.
I rather hope to not have to need you, to be honest.
That's a shame.
Always go for lunch.
Pass.
Oh my god, did Casimir just get rejected? Damn.
His face doesn't crack, but you just know internally, just sharpening a knife. He's gone from appreciative to this guy is dead.
Okay, is this moment awkward? Is it did he literally just go, no thanks?
Yeah.
Okay, Quan turns to Casimir with almost a look of awkward pity and goes, I would enjoy going to lunch with you, Casimir, as
I know.
I'm sure everyone...
Mara smiles with absolute glee.
That sounds like a nice offer, Casimir. Why don't you take Quan up?
Well, it was a kind of group offering. I'm sure we will want to eat lunch together.
I'm not
At some
hungry. Thank you.
We will feel hungry at some point, probably during a lunchtime, Casimir. It's important that you eat.
I don't tend to eat lunch, thank you.
Well, I would really suggest that you start.
Then why would you ask me?
Oh, that motherfucker.
Because it's a good opportunity to network.
Oh, it was a neck-mating opportunity. I thought you were asking me on a date, in which case, yes, absolutely.
Great. Thank you. If he had a champagne flute, the bottom would have just gone.
There are trumpets off in the distance, interrupting this slightly awkward moment as the coronation party begins to arrive, and you are all required to take your seats, and we will deal with that.
Are we dressed? We're not dressed. Casimir probably
Yeah, you're all
swears
gonna
under
have to
his
do-
breath.
No,
and it's
you-
like, fuck.
No, fine. We will come back. The coronation is beginning. We will get this under the way because it's been threatened for 3 sessions. We will deal with it, and we will deal with that after the break. Please think about what your characters are going to wear to the coronation. We will be back in 10 minutes. I will see you soon.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Bye bye.
See y'all. I can't believe you've
Place
done
that,
me like
mates.
that. Hi.
Hello, hello. Welcome back. We are still currently missing an Arvis, but everyone else is here, which is fine, as the group is preparing for Ilara's coronation. I will start off by describing that the Grand Hall, where the coronation to take place, is slightly separate. It's been built for the occasion. High ceilings, kind of wood and tent coming up, although the central dais is made of stone and it's been carved hurriedly in order to get this done. The pattern on the outside is kind of embroidered with various scenes depicting the history and prosperity of Lukai. There's kind of light streaming in through that's being filtered through like large panels of colored glass that's being hung up, casting ethereal patterns on the polished floor. At the center of this hall, as you've now all seen, is the central dais where the 12 chairs you saw previously, along with the plinths, laid there, and the central chair which Ilara is going to sit in. They are slightly lower, but they're not significantly more grand, and the air is filled with a sense of anticipation as distinguished guests, noble citizens from across Lukai gather, murmurs creating kind of tapestry of sound. There are various banners representing each one's various banners representing each one of the factions, nations, and at the heart of the ceremony, Ilara's chair awaits. However, before all of that, all of you, I'll go around it on Discord, starting with Ben, Mercy, Casimir, Pod, Arvis, Sai, Quan. Why do I keep switching? Please prepare what your characters are going to look like. Mercy, you may start.
Wait, can you come back to me? Can you start with someone else?
Casimir, you may start.
Let me change overlay. Hold up, boys. Hold up, boys. Not that one. This one. Okay, guys. If Casimir was dressed fun at the party with his open back slit, today he is all business. He looks tall, elongated, elegant, serene. He's dressed head to toe in this silvery white robe, atop which a kind of mantle of this iridescent chiffon floats about him, this silk chiffon with this wafting kind of almost ghostly sort of look about it. The fabric, all of it has a pearl kind of sheen, but it's strange. It's embedded in the fabric. You might know this as a speciality of the magical weavers of Sacramar, in which literal pearl coats their fibers that's woven into their silk, so it has the visual properties of pearl, but remains flexible and soft. You know it's very pricey. You kind of get a sense of where his 500 gold might have gone. His hair is piled atop his head, these kind of like elegant crystal earrings glimmering with pearls up in the hair as well. You can tell he's a necromancer purely because at his shoulders are these two rococo swirly filigree skulls, these kind of like pauldron looking things from which the chiffon mantle wafts. And all throughout the outfit, the buttons, the embellishments all glow with this soft, pulsating, sort of ethereal light. Again, you suspect some money might have been dropped on those, which sort of reflects off the various crystals on the outfit. He looks very elegant, and his back is particularly straight, his hands kind of folded at his waist, and you kind of just get the sense he's quietly very pleased with himself. That's Mitchie.
Thank you, and also thank you for the props. Pod, are you ready to follow that? Oh, you're muted, I think.
Oh, am I muted? I feel like this is like school all over again. Like it's like well, after you do the presentation and yours just isn't very good, and you follow the person that's just like absolutely gone out of their way. Like, I mean, for a start, Pod obviously doesn't look very special. He has no concept of fashion. That's just how he's always been. So he would have looked at various people on the way in and done what he always does and cast a disguised self on himself to look kind of like similar people around him. But it doesn't quite match. He's taken the wrong aspects of different parts, like that the colors don't go. It looks like someone, like, I don't know, a child had kind of dressed themselves in fancy clothes. It's just, if someone had a big wardrobe of fancy clothes and they just took out the bits that look comfiest and put them on, that's what it would look like. That's what he's wearing. Yeah, and he's disguised self, so he looks more humanoid than Furbolg, as he's more comfortable to do when there are lots of people around.
Absolutely.
However, he has not washed, he has not changed his clothes, so he still kind of smells a bit musty, despite the clean look.
Obviously, we will deal with the Modi thing, but Modi has gone quiet ever since the Archon left, and you think maybe can't currently talk, and obviously you'll be pondering that. Arvis.
So Arvis kind of surprisingly has turned up in nothing particularly fancy, nothing particularly necessarily shite, but something very modest. He's turned up in what kind you'd probably think looks like a monk's, like a clergyman's robe, essentially. It's very simple. It's brown. It has not a literal piece of rope. Maybe it's kind of like gold leaf rope. So giving him kind of like Bishop Desmond Tutu vibes in how he's dressed. He's hooded as well. He knows that there could be many eyes. Many eyes have many spies. But also that many eyes might not treat his disposition lightly, so he's come hooded as essentially a monk.
Interesting. Quan.
So Quan is wearing his usual get-up. He's not wearing anything special, although it does look like he has spent some time polishing all of his armor, his silver armor, and the gold accessories that he's also wearing. And he's looking very sparkly and very paladinly today. A lot less dirty and grimy than he usually looks. And maybe as well, if anyone spots, there are a few more glass shiny beads kind of added to where he normally kind of puts in his hair and along his ears, which are kind of shining in the light of whatever is illuminating the coronation room.
I will make art appear potentially. So
do
much.
You want a second, or yes?
Well, look, he's...
It's just the quad art. So
there he is. There he is.
yeah.
Look at him. Look at our beautiful boy. He's so handsome. Wow, wow, wow.
Very.
Gotta make it safe or not.
Did you draw this?
No, God no. You think I can do that? No, this was commissioned for Sai's birthday.
Very nice.
Um,
Mercy.
So Amarathia is attending this. A slightly shorter, I would say, petite, but nevertheless quite skinny elf woman. She has gone for a cocktail dress of sorts. Slightly longer, very simple, maybe like a single piece of material of dark grey, cut low with bare shoulders, and a plunging centre, accompanied by a pink kind of shawl. The striking feature of her appearance tonight is the ornate braid of her long white hair, which is kind of threaded together into a single large knot at the end, woven throughout with red scarlet silk ribbons, and she also carries in her hand a what looks like a box, a wooden box.
Okay, your group, Destiny's Boys, are off to the right. If you imagine the center, it's like, roughly cross-shaped for a church, but around the central altar. And off to the right, you have your group, and coming in are the greats and the good of Lukai. I will mention some of them that you all can be aware of. Lord Caleb obviously arrives, along with representatives of both the Bulwark of Honourable States and also the Prentice Federation, both of whom funded and aided this mission. I will start with the leader of the Honourable Bulwark, so Caleb doesn't actually lead, is General Tharian Eldergale, a kind of man, seems to be in his early 60s, physique very much that of somebody who was once a warrior but has kind of let it go a little bit. Big beard, think Robert Baratheon. Hair a bit more looked after, but beard certainly going that way.
Strong then.
He was strong. Kind of makes him into the thing, accompanied by Caleb and also Sovereign Arbiter Lysandra of Altorin, who you have all seen before, making their way from the manor of where the Weavers were.
This is the lady chatting about the Shard of Unification with Lady Montague, yeah?
Yes. And they are also accompanied by a semi-understated, wearing a very simple black robe, elven, half-elf figure, kind of black hair, couple of scars, who only you recognize, Mercy, as Yasuvu. Has joined them.
Yes.
Yes. Then a couple of other NPCs. Bringing up my long notes of everyone who's
Luke,
here.
can you make your camera so that you're more than just half?
I see you trying to chase me. Amanda's trying to eat a little bit of food, and you trying to chase me down with a camera.
All right, I won't reveal you. All right. You can peer over the
Am I correct?
Viceroy Jarvis is here. Initiate Jorin is here. The leader of the Creditors Federation, Isandro Valeth, a man you have not met, but one who is very deliberate in his movements. Seems to be in his late 50s, sharp, discerning eyes, kind of look around, slightly graying at the temple. Again, very well dressed for the event. There's like a sense that...
Could you repeat his name, please? Sorry?
Isandro, Isandro, Valeth, Valeth, the leader of the Creditors Federation.
Human?
Human, indeed. There are others who, if you wish to ask
sorry.
about.
Priority question: hot or not?
If you think elderly bankers are hot, it's up to you,
No,
really.
come on. The dude came and named like a Shakira lyric. He's got to be hot.
Name like
I'd
a
say that-
Shakira lyric.
Wow. Okay. There are others who come in. Well, some of you will recognize. Brian is not here. However, if you wish to ask about any particular faction, you may, but I'm not going to go through every single one. Everybody comes, takes their seats. You are 1 or 2 rows back. You're still relatively near the front and surrounded by people of high esteem within Lukai. For those of you watching, Ivor Montague does make his way in and sit some distance off, not before making eye contact with a certain Mr. Crossley, sitting down.
He's keeping a very low profile.
Casimir not suspiciously fast, but just disinterestedly looks away. He's doing his best to not maintain.
All of you looking at Ivor is not staring at anybody else other than pointedly staring at Casimir.
Not very good at this.
At which point, everyone stands. There is music, trumpet, fanfare outside, and Ilara wearing, I will say, a very much reminiscent of kind of. I'm not good at dresses. Walks in wearing a dress made of various kind of blue and white hues that looks as if as she walks almost like clouds are moving across the dress. Hair very long flowing, various flowers that you would have seen about the Stormlands detailed through her hair, and looks very nice, incredible, as some would say, and walks slowly forward, each eye kind of focused on her, and turns, and before she sits down, kind of stands in front of the chair, at which point Kalim kind of stands forward and says, "Esteemed guests, dignitaries, nobles, I only have a few words, which is to say how proud I am on this day, and that before we begin, we must welcome our most esteemed guests who are here, each give their blessings, and then Lara, my daughter, and Talos' Archon will give a speech before the blessings continue. Lara, if I may, I would introduce our guests one by one. So we can begin introducing all the Archons. Where's my notes? Why is
Could
my
you,
note
for
document
each
so
of them,
long?
could you give us a rating out of 10 for how hot they are?
Yes. You can provide artwork for the one that I know you have. So this will go in order, starting with Talos' Archon, who is obviously the one who is supposed to be here. So let me just get my map up too. So it will be Talos' Archon first. First of all, Archon Tempestrial, the Gale Sovereign. A fairly awe-inspiring figure walks in, kind of wings flap, the tent shimmers across almost as a gust blows over it. An Arakocra walks in. Plumage is a dynamic tapestry of grays and whites, mimicking the swirling tumult of storms, clouds, and her eyes sparkle with electric blue lightning. Armor, incredibly well-made, bronze, carrying a long-tipped spear, scabbard with a sword that you imagine is a sword at her office there. A hawk swirls around her head before landing on the thing, and she walks forward. If you find birds attractive, very attractive.
Is she like an 8,
you know
a
what, mate?
9?
I both find birds attractive.
Love birds.
And she kind of nods to Alara, nods to Kalim, and takes her seat there. Next is the Archon of the Fields of Gold, Shanto. Archon Vridiona the Lifeweaver. As there's a couple of heavy steps outside, as what seems to be a creature made of metal stands in. golden body, silver body adorned with kind of intricate golden patterns, kind of almost like to mimic veins across this. Some almost circuitry but thing there as a Warforged kind of steps in, each step kind of mechanically drawing himself closer and closer towards center before bowing, before Alara nodding to Kevin and sitting down. There is, any of you watching these, there is indifference between these two. There is not indifference, however, between the next one and Viridian. Almost immediately, you can tell these two don't like each other, as you can imagine why. Tia, Archon, Oregon, the Hammer of Virtue. In strides, a golden-haired, golden-eyed, incredibly bronzed hand skin, human male, probably about 6'1", carrying the largest warhammer any of you has ever seen. That almost seems to it's partly on his back, but stretched out a little bit on the side, and there is just a purpose and virtue in the way he strides forward, completely undeterred, doesn't seem to be bothered by anything else, and looks to be almost somewhere you wouldn't be able to be sure, between 30 and 50, in kind of the face, but very much someone who has seen battle.
Casimir's
yes.
going to lean over to Quan at this point and just quietly say, "Don't worry, I think you're much more impressive than he is."
Question out of character, DM. Is he single?
Yes.
Add that to my notes.
And in place of the High Praetor, representing the Lost Plane, Lady Cario Montague, leader of the House of Law. And in strides the very Professor McGonagall-esque woman you have all seen in kind of hair tucked back in a bun, incredibly sensibly dressed, a couple of very fine jewelry and adornments, but nonetheless kind of no nonsense, strides forward. Does pause for a single second, making eye contact with Casimir.
Oh, she spots me in the crowd.
Yeah. Difficult not to spot, given what you're wearing.
He maybe swallows, sticks his nose in the air, looks her dead in the eyes, and just gives a "come and get me" smirk. And holds her eye contact for as long as she maintains it.
Yeah, I know. She just about almost seems to get brought back to reality by somebody clapping, looks over, goes to sit down, and every now and then glances over to you. There are trumpets that announce the next Archon, and drums, and all of you hear a and you look round, and 2 rows back, there is Fizzle and Nalos, and Brom is not there, but the remaining of his other team sigh, and the sigh has come from Fizzle, as introduced. Sorry. Could you get the artwork up?
I can get you a picture, Jamie. I can. This is this one.
Little JPEG or two. Anyway.
Oh, we got a JPEG of it. This one I did draw, guys.
That's what you did draw.
Yo.
Yeah.
Is that Savarok?
Zed. In walks Archon of Tiamat. Desrin Chemble, the Flameborn. And you see, striding in, crude drawing, incredibly ornately armored, the helmet depicting each one of the 5 each one of the 5 heads of Tiamat, sword sheathed, but even though it's sheathed, you can see kind of a bit of red and blue flame dancing around it. You see in the background that there's people throwing rose petals at his feet from outside as he kind of steps in, looks round, smiles, walks forward, makes his way, bows very deeply before approaching Alara and kissing her hand, and goes to take a seat before looking around, looking over and making eye contact with somebody sitting several rows behind you, which you presume was Fazul.
I'm gonna turn around, look at Fazul, and arch eyebrows in the way of, well, you didn't say that was what your brother looked like.
Fazul just sighs and puts his hand.
Can I make an insight check, Jamie?
On Fazul or this
Yeah,
guy?
actually, how does he look?
Is it Fezwin?
Ezrin.
Desmond.
Fezrin.
No.
Yeah.
So
Okay,
earlier, when the DM was describing the tiefling, I was gonna basically complain that there's not enough bear representation in this.
Here he
Well, now you
is.
have it.
And I feel like you've recovered neatly.
Here he is. Here he is.
The kiss of Ilara's hand. Smarmy or like gentleman?
What did you roll?
Okay. I've never wanted a higher roll more in my life.
I got to roll as well because I'm curious.
I got a 13.
I also want to roll, actually.
I got a 20. I got a 22. What do I see?
Oh, I
This
also
imposing
got
man.
22. No, I got 20, sorry.
Pod wasn't paying a huge amount of attention. He's not one for formal ceremonies, but
We
this
saw
guy,
it, I'll roll too.
this guy,
22.
this guy is interesting.
Okay, go for
Yeah.
it. What's the highest roll?
I rolled 22. Yeah.
22. Okay, like he's the only one that's done it, but like there's an air of confidence that walks here. That like it's not smarmy in the sense that he's like sing up to it, but like it was the right thing to do, and he was the man to do it, and he has blessed Ilara through this action.
He was the man to do it. Literally everything he does, I reckon that goes through his head.
Yeah,
How's- So I wanted to inside check Fazul. I've rolled a 16.
Yeah. Fazul is like heads in hand. He is like, not this shit again. Why is he here? Why didn't I? Fazul is regretting not leaving.
So is this
already
like
now.
secondhand embarrassment? Is he intimidated
No,
by his
this-
brother? Is he like existentially upset? Like,
This is like embarrassment on his behalf, as in like Fazul's, and like you're perhaps beginning to understand why he left to go be stronger to try to beat his brother.
so the vibe I'm getting right is that Fezrin is Fazul, but better in every single way. Like he's a bit like
No,
he's more handsome.
No.
He's like more impressive. Like,
That's pretty rude.
that's quite rude. Yeah,
but is it true?
you haven't even spoken to him yet. No, you don't. You can't get that from an inside
With
roll.
a
No,
20,
just
with a
looking at
20,
him. Looking at him.
Fazul- Oh, look
with
at
a
him, he's much more
22.
impressive.
Can I ask how
He's an Archon.
based on? Can I ask how based on red pill he comes across as?
Not red pilled and
Okay.
very based.
Is he very based? Okay, cool.
I mean,
He
it looks
walks by
like
and absolutely
Fazul chose
mogs Fazul.
Bulbasaur, and this
Yeah.
motherfucker chose Charmander. That's what I'm seeing.
Yeah, this guy did choose Charmander. That's the correct interpretation of what's happening. Next is Archon, Knight of Elvival Scene, who steps forward. And there's less acclaim and less cheering for the Archon of the Raven Queen, but nonetheless makes her way, nods before Alara, sits down. You notice, by the way, each of them is unsheathing their sword and putting it in the plinth in front of them. Next, many notes. Archon Rashaval, the Stone Sentinel. And I just quickly need to go get the notes that Clune sent me.
It's him,
Just-
guys.
just- Did you send it to me on Facebook or was it?
Bro, I don't know where I sent that shit to you.
It might be
Discord,
Facebook.
maybe?
Checking.
Who is, of course, the Archon of Gep.
Yeah, he is. But this is alternate universe, Russia.
This is
This,
also
this isn't him.
It's not him.
It's not him.
It's not him.
He's not him. Oh my god.
He is not him. Desrin is him. Rasha is not him.
Okay, I'll add them. It's fine. I will find this in a bit. Inbox Russia. as many of you would have seen from last campaign, tall, imposing Earth Genasi, kind of grey skin, little slicks of gold underneath it, almost peering through like gold through ore. Hair tied up in a bun with white hair tied up in a bun with kind of intricate golden jewelry adorning it. Armor incredibly well made. Almost suits him, almost like moves seamlessly as he moves across. Each one of the patterns kind of golden triangles, golden pyramids with eyes inside, Illuminati, forget across it. And this is, as you all would have heard for Land, one of the greatest forge masters in existence, and that reflects in the armor that he is wearing. Anything I missed, Lou?
I don't know. I don't really remember what I said. I suppose maybe that he's famous for creating masterworks, that probably like the stuff he makes fetches very high price on auction. It just looks very like priestly, bit of white robing going on. He looks very serene, creaturey.
Next, there is a hush over the audience. And sending his avatar, Abaddon, the Despoiler,
The Despoiler?
appearing around, zooming a little cloud. That cloud appears around the chair and it kind of envelops it for a second. And then there's a floating figure somewhere in that fog. A jet black face, probably jet black eyes, horns zooming up, almost tiefling, but not quite. Hair that doesn't seem to form part of the fog, and it just seems to float there. And there is a hush, a pause, as the fog moves a little bit, and then colors almost seem to appear and disappear. But you can't feel yourself looking at this for slightly too long. And yeah, there is artwork of this. Thank you for all of this.
The Despoiler.
Yes.
Good title.
That's sick.
What can you say? Moving on. Sorry. Why do I keep losing this? Talk amongst yourself for 2 seconds. We'll be back in a second. Yeah.
I'm going to give you
Archons
some.
pirate, yeah.
Can I give you some details on Abaddon for some of the
Yes,
pictures?
of course.
Right, he's got these like red luminescent chains that they is their pronoun, right? These like red luminescent chains that like move across the surface of their skin, kind of a bit trippy looking, and their hair is almost like an oil slick with this like chaotic pandemonium sort of blue, purple, red texture that like warps across it. It's perfectly straight and yet isn't at the same time. It's like really stressful to look at. He's like very beautiful in a way that's like quite unsettling.
Right.
They.
Yes, thank you for the improvements to my description. Pythrus. Pythrus the Flamebound enters. Again, in this form, a tiefling clad in deep crimson robes. They seem to flicker and dance like flames. A bit mesmerizing to look at, a bit intimidating. Smoky trails seem to emanate from kind of the fingers and the bottom of the feet. And again, deep crimson red skin, kind of completely golden eyes, carrying again a sword that's slightly smoking this whole time, and goes up to sit next to on the opposite side of these. I would say that all of the Archons are slightly shifting away in cold towards Abaddon, as you'd expect. The Fields of Gold and the High Heavens do not like each other. There's like a nod of respect between the Realms of Retribution, Asmodeus, and Tears. If you want any others, I can give it to you. And there are 2 more to go. I promise it'll be over soon. This one is Archon Starweave, the Arcane Mystic. In walks. Form kind of constantly begins to shift. Every time you look away, you think it's going to look differently. The only things that remain the same are the eyes, which are one is kind of seems to almost project or mirror the night. If you look too deeply, it almost seems to suck you in to a vortex of uncharted spells, the depth of the universe mysteries. The other eye, however, is more pale and serene, like the moon, offers a glimpse into kind of the calm and peace that can come with sleep. But describing this person's, every time you look, sometimes it almost seems to be a childlike. Sometimes they're a fully grown adult. Sometimes they're an old man. Every time you change the way it changes. Finally, Archon Aquilon the Tide Caller, who is the Abyssal Herald, a merfolk, kind of very tall, carrying a large trident, similarly, however, with a sword, scales kind of glistening, even though they don't seem to be wet, kind of beautifully reflecting kind of that green-purple hue. Arms seem to be, you imagine would be a warrior, but are wearing kind of a robe, a sage's robe that kind of goes down, each kind of buckle representing, each, you can see there's intricately carved kind of, sea wildlife across it. Some of them normal, some of them more monstrous. And each one of these take their seat around Ilara. Any questions or anything you want to insight check, we'll go back over.
Yeah.
We were to No, you can go first.
Oh, I was just going to say, like a general one about how they all right? Because I guess this is they're all technically kind of equals or equal status.
Yeah.
There are now sort of 11 of them all in one place. I get that Abaddon's not really here, and there's the lawgiver, Lady Montague, but the rest of them, do they feel comfortable with each other? Are they used to being kind of above everyone else, or are they do these kind of representative meetings a lot? It's like Parliament. They hang out with each other quite a lot.
Yeah.
What's the office politics?
So the office politics are you will know that the Archon Council is very rarely called. It's only ever called for meetings of either dire understanding, so to bring an end to the war, of shame, or it's for ceremonies like this to give their blessings. So they very rarely meet all together like this.
Okay.
And are forced to do so. Some, there are issues or factions within that are very painful, obviously, to observe. But some of the other, so it's if you want individual ones, I can tell you, but you will know that there's a loose alliance between the Realms of Retribution and the High Heavens. However, the Fields of Gold and the High Heavens obviously are not in particular alignment at the moment. We can address whether or not it's ethereal, why they seem to have taken such little interest in this. And in your campaign. There are also those that seem to be more neutral, Rashaval, Noctival. You're unsure of Thezrin, as the Archon. Basically, a lot of these don't change a lot. Tiamat's Archon, however, compared to the others, changes quite a lot more regularly. You know that there is also an alliance between the High Heavens and Sacramar, and Dominus kind of is the joining factor. However, if you have specific questions, please let me know.
Yeah, I guess my last question before is just that how do they interact with Abaddon's Archon in particular, right? Because they're obviously they feel like they've got this responsibility, but I feel like Abaddon kind of went against the kind of what Archons do. So how do they all feel about the fact that either one, that Abaddon has to be invited or is invited or is still part of them or is still an Archon? I don't know how they all feel about.
I will say that there are certainly some of them that are outwardly displaying their displeasure at the invite. I will say that
Who sits next to Abaddon? It's
Rasha and Pythagoras. I will say of the two of them, Rasha is fairly unreadable. Pythagoras is not a fan of being next to Abaddon. I would say that basically any of those that represent some kind of virtue rather than a force of nature are not a fan of Abaddon being there at all.
These guys are all for the most part, mortal or change, right? Whereas Abaddon is the only one there that is, like, immortal, right? The world does not remember a time pre-Abaddon, right?
Yes, true.
Okay, and the rest of them are just guys. So there's this inherent, like, they're all dudes, and then Abaddon is just sort of there.
Yes.
Spooky.
I have a question.
Yep.
It's simple. Can I get a refresh of what Ilara was wearing for Ilara's special day?
Yes. Ilara is wearing a dress that has kind of been dyed to match the sky of the Stormlands. So it's, as she walked, it looked like there were kind of clouds shifting along. It's a combination of like white, blue hues. She's wearing a very large signet ring of her house, and also throughout her hair you can see there's kind of been embroidered, as well as like jewelry and gold, but also like various flowers you saw that are native to the Stormlands.
Fine.
As Kaden bows, Lara says, takes a moment, pause, breathes a little bit. I thank you all for coming, and kind of moves to second Archon. Zephyriel, it is customary for you to give the first word at such occasions. And the Archon stands up, kind of moves over, takes kind of takes over. Takes over and says, thank you, Ilara. Please, you may sit. And as she sits, all the Archons sit at the same time. Apart from Zephyriel. Zephyriel turns to each of you. Loyal subjects, esteemed peers, the many faces of Lukai that gather here today, I stand before you as the Gale Sovereign, the voice of the mighty Talos, the tempest that shapes all corners of our world. It is both my privilege and my burden to oversee this quaint preserve you so cherish. In the eyes of the storm there is clarity, a vision that transcends the ordinary, reaching into the very essence of power and chaos. And from this elevated vantage, I have gazed upon the tapestry of existence, witnessing realms that soar beyond the simple beauty and modest trials of the Stormlands. Today, we gather to honor a new stewardship, to weave a fresh thread into the fabric of your local legacy. And while this occasion may be momentous for the denizens of this region, let us not forget the broader canvas upon which it unfolds. The vast untamed sky of which creation that dwarfs our singular concerns. As your Archon, I am tasked with bridging the chasm between the celestial and the terrestrial, to impart the will of Talos upon this land. A land, I might add, that while endearing in its provincial charm, does not mirror the grandeur and fury of the domains of which it gods oversees. Nevertheless, I shall extend my patronage, bestowing upon Lukai the attention it seeks, nurturing its potential as one might tend to a delicate, unassuming flower amidst a field of wild, rampant flora. May this chapter under the stewardship of Lara unfold with the grace and tenacity befitting the expectations of Talos, and may you all find strength in the tempest's embrace, rising to meet your fates with the courage and resolve that befits followers of Talos. For in the grand design dictated by the gods, even the smallest breeze can herald the onset of a mighty gale, and it is in the dance of winds and winds that your truest test lies. Rise to it, and perhaps in time you will glean a fraction of the majesty that defines the greater cosmos. I shall watch with a curious interest, eager to see whether this corner of our world can transcend and aspire. Until then, I offer my blessings as we turn our gaze to the horizon, to the storm that beckons, and the destinies yet unwritten. Smiles. There's a slight clap as he sits back down. You can all take from that however you feel about that speech.
Casimir coughs. Well, that sucked into his hand. Whoever's sitting next to him.
You can all hear that from Casimir. Ilara, not immune to some of perhaps the insults that were in that speech, stand up, looking slightly red. And... Loyal subjects, steadfast allies, and cherished friends. And at that, she looks over at you. Today, we gather under the vast skies of Lukai, not just to witness the dawn of a new era, but to embrace a shared vision of our future. I stand before you humbled by the trust you've placed in me, and invigorated by the love I hold for our people and our land and its people. In the chronicles of our history, we have seen rulers rise and fall, kingdoms flourish and wane. We have celebrated victories, endured hardships, and always we have preserved. For the spirit is indomitable, and it is this spirit, this undying resolve, that beckons us to look beyond the trappings of titles and the allure of crowns. I have been given the honor to lead, yet I believe true leadership transcends mere authority. It is a covenant, a solemn pledge to serve and protect and uplift. Therefore, with the fullness of my heart and the clarity of purpose, I choose to assume the role of steward of Lukai rather than its queen. As your steward, I vow to be the guardian of our lands, a defender of our freedoms, and a servant to the common good. Together, we shall steward our resources wisely. Sorry, meant to be steward of Stormlands, so ignore me. Safeguard our transitions and forge a path toward prosperity and peace. Let us cast aside the shadows of tyranny and the echoes of discord, and unite under the banner of mutual respect and collaboration. As the land nurtures the seed to yield harvests, so shall we cultivate a future where every voice is heard, every hand is held, and every soul is cherished. To you, the people of the Stormlands, I dedicate my service. Let us embark on this journey not as ruler and subject, but as fellow stewards of our shared destiny. May our hearts be brave, our intentions pure, and our endeavors blessed. And with that, she sits back down. Various clapping. Slight shock at Theory giving up queenness, but also stewardship. And after that, there's a fairly long procession of people coming to bring gifts, culminating with Zephyriel standing up again to place a crown upon Ilara's head. Anything you guys would like to do or react to?
I have a question.
Yeah.
Is sending the message spell in boring congregations a done thing? Do you get noticed for that?
You can certainly try.
No, but like in general, he would know, like, if you can get away with sending message in, like...
Casimir would have done it before. There would have been no consequences.
The way you phrase that makes me so nervous. I feel like he's just gonna, like, throughout the proceedings, send messages to his friends either side to him, like, you know, when he couldn't actually speak up, and just comment snarkily on what people were wearing or various people's expressions. Nothing important.
About, I say, a couple of them in, you hear a voice you've never heard before saying, "Oh, you're rather funny, I do agree."
I look around. Is there anyone making eye contact?
Yeah, the Star Weaver. The Archon of Magic.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I suppose to send back it, well, I appreciate someone who can take a joke. And not send anymore for the rest.
Okay, we will say that the ceremony rolls up. Ilara is escorted out to whatever is, and there are some milling around and some networking, as it were. You may well now commence the beginning. However, before that, we'll get to as Thezrin stands up as the ceremony ends and walks over to Fazul.
Oh,
Oh dear.
no, we don't need to see this. This is going to be pain.
I want to see it. I want to see Fazul's suffering.
Oh. How close are we to this? Can we
You're
hear
here,
this?
you can hear this. Oh, like, because Thezrin booms. There is volume to his voice.
Oh,
Brother!
oh, poor guy.
I've missed you.
Brother, this
Mother's
is
missed
metal.
you.
No,
How have you
this is
been?
metal.
And he goes to hug him.
No.
And Fazul gets kind of crushed in a bear hug.
Oh, boy.
Now. There's no shame in second place. I was given a full report. I think Jess is mad at me for shouting. Given a full report, and I'm sure you did your best.
Has Fazul said anything by this point?
Fazul was just like being crushed and put down. And he
What
said,
kind of expression does he have on his face? Does he look like he wants to
thunder,
die?
anger, and thunder. Yeah, he also he's incredibly angry, but also he wants to die. And he goes, I was there when Razor died. I fought her. I was as involved as anyone else. Let's see. I'm sure you were. I understand that you gave your team a disadvantage too. Losing a jewel. This one looks up to the side and says, they cheated? Sorry, speak up. I didn't hear that. Looks over at you. They cheated? And Tezrin kind of laughs to himself. And did you learn a lesson? So looks up at the... just kind of pauses. So, you must understand and respect your opponents enough that they will do whatever it takes to win. And so should you.
At this, if this is loud, okay.
This is loud. This is booming.
Okay,
This is not.
okay. Quan is gonna make his way over at the mention of the jewel, and go up to Fazul and say, "Now, Fazul, no one likes a sore loser."
Precisely. Ah, you must be the paladin who bested him.
Quan, it's nice to meet you.
It's wonderful to make your acquaintance. I actually have something for you. And you'll see he pulls out and he presents Quan with a rose. A customary gift to those who win. Surely my brother gave you such an honor.
It seems he might have forgotten.
Kind of tuts a little bit. Fazul, your manners. Come.
I'm gonna sweep over with a swish of the skirt. And Casimir is actually gonna stand at Fazul's side and say, there are many qualities your brother has. Manners are sadly not one of them. But I wouldn't disregard his efforts in helping defeat Razor. He did stand at our side, and I am grateful to him for it.
I'm sure you are, Casimir. I'm sure you're extremely grateful.
It's a pleasure to meet you, Archon. I've heard much of you. And he's like really, you know, like spicy cats when they have like slit eyes and they look kind of like fluffy tailed.
Steps back and he claps his brother on the back and says, Fazul, this is a momentous occasion. Your first fan.
I prefer friend, thank you.
Oh my god.
Oh, that's even better. Your first friend.
Oh, fucking hell, Jamie. Stop it.
And sadly, that
convincing
doesn't
And such a
surprise
pretty one.
me. What was that?
I called you pretty. Was that an insult?
No, that was Clued asking.
I meant it sincerely. Oh, yeah. And such a pretty one.
Well, it's a shame that I am his first friend. I would have thought that's what brothers are for.
Oh, of course, familial bonds are strong. But I suppose... Yes, I would call Fazul a friend. I'm wrong. You're right. Thank you.
Don't mention it.
So congratulations are in order. You are what I presume would be the winning team, yes?
The victors, yes.
Oh, congratulations. And a man as strong as you looks at Quan. I can hardly imagine why. Sorry, I can absolutely imagine why. Congratulations. From Alara's speech, I'm certain she's going to be a wonderful ruler.
Thor's getting absolutely mogged.
Has he said anything?
Fazul, no, he's like looking at his shoes. He kind of looked quite. He's like he looked at Casimir and like in a very like smiled a little bit, but like the minute his brother started talking again, he's like there is some anger and fury in his face. He looks about ready to storm off.
If he's staring into liminal space gently while Thezrin and Quan are talking, he's going to. Is Fazul holding like a beer or something? He's just gonna
No.
gently place a glass of water into his hand and just say, "Stay hydrated."
What?
Feisty.
Well, after his embarrassing actions last party, after too many beers, where
Yeah, Fazul takes it and drinks it. I must thank all of you again for looking after my brother. He's very far from home. Mum was asking after you. What should I report back?
actually, please
The
tell us
result- the
what
result.
your mother's like.
She's a wonderful woman. I mean, how could she not be? She raised us. By the way, there is not a hint of irony or like. If
No, I
anyone
believe
inside
it.
check, he believes all of these words.
This man is a
Fazul
20
says-
charisma.
I feel like
Also-
Casimir came
Jesus.
into this conversation like really hating this guy, right? I think like in his mind, Thezrin represents to Fazul what the Praetor represents to him, right? So he's like standing up for his buddy, but like 30 seconds into this conversation, you can just see his paper thin resolve just like shattering. He just kind of starts to laugh with Thezrin and is like, yeah, you're quite funny, yeah. And it just gets worse and worse as this goes on.
Yeah, it's absolutely. You know, Fazul says, I'm doing fine. I'm actually going on an expedition to Sunken Isles soon. Taking up archaeology. Good for you. I hope you find something. Bring it back to show us. I'm glad you're safe. And then drops his voice a little bit, so you can be talking a little bit more to Fazul, but I was worried about you. Fazul says, no, I'm fine, thank you. It's fine.
Can I do an insight check on Fazul, Jim?
Yeah.
I'm getting the vibe of like, as much as Fazul hates his brother, he must also, does he care for him as well? Is it kind of, I love him and I hate him and I want to be him and I hate myself kind of thing?
go for
Or
it.
does he
I'll go
genuinely, okay, yeah. I roll. 14.
14. Fazul at this moment wants the world to swallow up and die, but like you don't get the sense that at any point in this he wants to like kill his brother. He just wants to beat him at something, anything.
Anything, yeah. It's not like, yeah, like he doesn't actually hate his brother. He just wants it to, he's just jealous, deeply insecure and jealous.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's so pathetic.
Cool. Yeah. Okay, I note this and I'm just like, well, fuck me, it's his destiny to be the pathetic brother. That sucks.
Lord Archon, may I call you Thezrin?
Of course you.
I have a question. I couldn't help but overhear your comment at doing whatever it takes to win at the tournament. I was rather under the impression it was a strictly honour-bound affair. Whatever did you mean by that?
He pauses for a second and thinks and says, in any fight, almost over anything, people will do whatever they can to get whatever edge they want. There are hundreds of men who I'm sure are standing, not from the tournament, of course, it's not to death, but there are hundreds of men who are standing before the Raven Queen, protesting that if only for fairness, they'd be here instead of me, or alive. Honor matters. It does. As does respect. And you have to respect all that your opponents can bring to any fight. and what they're willing to do. And if you understand that it is beyond what you are willing to do, that you may lose.
Honor matters, but winning is better.
Honor is what comes from strength. I don't need to cheat.
Asma kind of nods at that and... Goodness, if only you had told your brother that sooner, I wouldn't have had to teach him the same life lesson.
A lesson well learned by Quan, yes?
Sorry, I don't get what you mean.
As in, like, talking about the duel, you winning.
What, as in Vizor learning from being beaten by me, or?
Yes. Well, I'm glad to see you're safe, and you are making friends. It's good. When you set off in the middle of the night without saying goodbye, well, the mind wanders, unfortunately. Zul just says, I left a note, and I thought that would be enough. I was planning to come back fairly soon. But I'm glad to hear that. You are missed at home. Dearly. But I understand you have your own path, and one you must follow yourself. All of you. I understand you've come to taking yourself Destiny's Boys.
I'm really not sure where that name came from.
I don't really recall agreeing to it, but that does seem to be what people call us, yes. Personally, I'm not a fan of destined outcomes. I prefer to forge my own outcomes.
Well, congratulations. And as I said, I'm sure you have done good for the world. And good for Alara. Gladly, they seem to be the same thing. It was a genuine pleasure to meet all of you. And he kind of bows a little bit. I'll be glad to report back for all that you're safe, sound, and cared for.
It was indeed a genuine pleasure. Casimir is quite surprised as he says this. And returns the bow.
And he begins to leave. Unless there is any other comments or anything anybody wants to say.
Please to God, make this stop.
As everyone walks off, Fazul mutters, "Yep, that's him, Mr. Fucking bloody perfect," and strolls off. Like begins to like thunder up as you can try to stop him.
He doesn't seem... I mean, he must be terrible. I'm sure we only saw his best behaviour. He assumedly is awful, which is why you are so hell-bent on defeating him.
He's every second of every day.
You're quite quiet, Jamie.
Nothing. Sorry, yeah. There was nothing I could do. Nothing was good enough. Oh, Desmond did better. Oh, Desmond did this earlier. I'm going to beat him. I don't know how. I don't know when. I don't know why. Which bloody power it's going to be. Going to win.
That's the spirit. Just be better. And pats him on the arm. I believe in you.
Basil kind of shrugs. I need a drink. And goes to like walk away.
Of water, he calls after him. He kind of leans into Mercy and says, "We can't have him desiccating, can we? Whatever grim future you saw of him all mummified."
Oh well, it is a shame, but he will never beat his brother.
Really? Never? What do you mean, never?
It is his fate, as I saw, is to struggle futilely against the gargantuan achievements of his older sibling, and he will ultimately fail.
No, I mean, surely he'll beat Thezrin in the tournament of scales, surely. It's not a hopeless endeavour for him.
I have seen nothing that would seem he unseat his brother.
Oh. Oh.
It is his future to try and fail.
Yeah, I feel quite invested in his success. It portends well for my own. But I suppose we're discrete variables.
You are different, Casimir. You're
Better.
a...
I know. I know.
Sexier, more attractive.
Utter,
I-
more determined.
Fazul has more futures for failure.
How many futures for failure do I have?
Many, very many.
I can imagine many for you. I'm sorry, Pod, but I do.
Got nods a little bit. He's like, yeah, that chick's.
Sorry. Pat's Pod
Is
on
this
the shoulder.
upsetting?
So, no, there is a tap, roughly, pointedly, on Casimir's shoulder. Rip round, eye to eye with Lady Montague.
Oh, shit.
You were keeping such a low profile.
How could she see
It's
me with my
happened.
glowing buttons? I don't understand.
And there's there is ice in her gaze, and whatever that brings out in you as you stare defiantly, I imagine, but
Yeah,
nonetheless.
it's almost like a switch has flipped, and he was maybe like relaxed and being a bit silly with Pod and Mercy, and it's almost like the blood in his veins just completely like freezes, and his neck straightens, and his like chin is immediately in the air, and he's not taller than this woman at all, right? She's very, very tall, but it almost does feel like he's looking down at her through.
Yeah, there's a
his
little
nose.
bit, like slightly Goliath blood in there, as we said. So quite
Yeah.
tall, but you look up and you go. So this is the corner of the world you've scurried off to.
I'd hardly call it scurrying, Lady Montague. To what do I owe the distinct displeasure of meeting the woman putting my face on every corner of the city?
It's exactly that displeasure. Lady Vittoria Donati was a personal friend, amongst your many other crimes. You are wanted for murder, arson, murder, robbery, and escaping arrest.
Do you know, it's funny. I would have thought a personal friend of Lady Donati's might have visited her once in the 5 years prior to her death throughout her illness. Funny, I don't recall ever seeing you on the visitor records.
How on earth would you possibly know that?
I did my research.
Then you are a calculated killer, as well as a merciless one.
I prefer thorough.
Are you proud of your accomplishments?
Do you know what I am?
Of your crimes?
The ones I've committed. I do look back on with some fondness, you know. Yes. I'm more proud of evading arrest. The shame Sakramar's House of Law is headed by someone either too incompetent to catch me, or too stupid to understand what's really going on under her nose.
That there's like a little flaring of nostrils, which you can see because you're looking directly up at them.
I'd say it will be a bright day when your successor takes your place, but frankly, your son is not likely to be much better. Pathetic and disinterested in the charge as he is.
I'm not here to hear your thoughts on anything. The rest of you, you're aware of the company you keep. You are surely all fine, upstanding members of the Kai, parading around with a murderer. A self-professed proud murderer.
Kind of crooks his neck and hopes vaguely his friends will stand at his side.
Oh, I was not aware of these charges against this man, who I just met.
Gosh, that's pretty heavy for our first encounter, isn't it?
Well, let me regale you. This man is wanted for a murder when he was merely a teenager. He then stole away, manipulated an elderly, frail, ill woman before killing her in her own home, burning it down, running off with the possessions, enough gold to make it presumably to here, killing all who came after him. Now stands before me, proud in his violence.
I lived a very comfortable 6 months in Dominus on that money, thank you very much.
So why not arrest him then?
Well, she can't, you see. I'm under Lady Lubin as the steward of the Stormlands protection, so... No, I don't think she can.
I'm sure her ladyship will be interested to hear about your history.
She knows.
Protection.
She's fully aware of what it is I have actually done, and she has come to the conclusion that the charges don't stick.
They don't stick. She's seen no evidence, no other side of the story. You know, if it wasn't quite so vile, I'd be impressed with your confidence. But mark my words, Lara will see sense. She seems like a sensible woman.
Eminently so. I am terribly fond of her.
And you will be brought to justice.
I hope so, and I very much hope the same for you. Actually, would you do me a favour, Lady Montague? I wondered if you might pass on a message to the High Praetor. If you would let him know that his reckoning is coming, and with it, yours too. I would appreciate that ever so much.
I am nobody's messenger boy. Little known petty criminals.
No, I did ask
That
mine.
You
sounds
will die
like
in a
one
cell
of
on
the-
Sakramar.
What was
No
that
one will
pod?
remember your name. What's that?
Murder sounds a little bit more than just petty, but that's just
True. Criminals, leave out petty.
Please don't diminish my achievements.
Your Honor, it was mere petty crime.
It was only little.
The
So,
lack of
sir, you
contrition
were...
points that this is a matter of severe urgency. All of you. Shows no remorse, no denial, in fact, of what has been done. You will all share the same fate.
But these
as
crimes
Lady,
sound...
as Lady Donatari, should you remain with this villain.
Mr. Crosby, these crimes sound positively terrible. I am afraid I can no longer be in your company. Lady Montague, perhaps you would give me the detail, and I might speak to the steward, Her Grace, about these crimes. I was not aware that I was in the company of such a foul and vicious murderer.
I am an abomination, it's true. I'm told that fairly frequently.
How is anybody else reacting to this pod, Arvis?
With a very gold-toothed grin.
I like the idea of Arvis just standing there leering.
Kind of mildly
Oh,
amused.
it is his favourite pastime.
Okay, pod.
I don't know. I feel like Pod just doesn't really understand the gravity of what's happening here so far.
Yes, thank you. Your name, sorry.
Oh, it is Amarathia Thaniel.
Yes, well, if you could arrange for some... Lara is a busy woman. If you could arrange for some time for us to discuss these matters, I'm sure the protection of this one will...
Well,
fairly soon.
Perhaps you could inform me of some of the details of these allegations, and I could relay them in a similarly eloquent way, as I'm sure you have already, Lady Montague.
Absolutely. Let's spend some time together and deal with that. I will seek you out soon, but know this. There's not a corner of Lucaia which you can hide. I will personally make sure you never know peace until justice is done.
I was
Sorry, Lady Montague. Speaking of Ilara, as we are all very close with her and have spent the last several months in her presence, gaining her favor, I would be interested to know what it is you plan to show Lady Ilara as form of proof of the accusations you have against Casimir.
Right you are. Sorry, I can tell from your armor you're a servant of Tyr, is that correct?
Right?
And your name, sorry.
Quan.
Certainly, I have eyewitness documents. We have reports dating back almost several years now of incident reports, descriptions from eyewitnesses, logs. Ultimately, this man here has not had his day in court to defend himself, but see, he parades his guilt.
Well, as I heard it, Casimir actually said that he's very proud of the things he has done. He didn't actually admit to being guilty of what you are accusing him of.
glad somebody
And-
has listening comprehension, thank you.
I'm not here to play word games. If this man is innocent, let him defend himself in court.
You say you're not here to play word games, Lady Montague. Please, excuse me, I don't mean to be rude, but wouldn't you say the reports of eyewitnesses from 10 years ago, and therefore also based on potentially more evidence needed from a very, very long time ago, is
You're right, the first murder
rather
was...
reaching?
You're right, the first murder, 10 years ago. However, 7 months ago, the arson and murder of a fair old woman, and the murder of Guard Captain Mateus, those are more recent. And beyond
Shocking.
I'm curious,
confirmation.
who filed those reports? Here's the thing, I would love to defend myself in a court of law. I absolutely would, if I didn't think that the Golden Order wasn't fucking corrupt and lying about the whole thing. So, I'm not
That's-
really sure I see the point.
It's wonderfully convenient of you to be willing to submit yourself to authority, but just not the one that wants to hold you accountable.
I'm curious. Maybe a bit of an aside. Have you done any investigating into the various disappearances around Sacramar that's plagued Varsala, in fact, for the last decade plus? I'm just wondering how your findings are progressing on that front.
Orphans and vagrants go missing all the time. They escape Dominus, they seek their fortune elsewhere. Every missing person case is investigated.
I wanna do a similar insight check to what I did on Mateus. Is this like incompetence or is this willful ignorance?
Yep,
Did so. Yeah, 100%.
No! The 3!
26.
Yes!
26.
Thank you!
No, that's fine. I will message Ben.
That's
Casimir.
a 19.
I will message
Fucking based, you
both of
guys.
you.
If it wasn't clear, Jamie, I'm going to leave with Lady Montague or find her later
Yeah.
and probe the shit out of this woman.
Oh, wow.
Goodness.
Not,
Steady on
not
that.
literally. Not literally.
She's married.
Obviously not literally.
I should. Is her husband alive? I don't know.
Yes.
I mean, the man has a pretty serious goal.
Okay, there we go. I'm messaging both of you. Looking at Casimir, you're like, no, there's no hint in that answer that she has anything other than sincerity in her response.
That's
Well,
I-
Lady Montague, as a paladin of Tyr, of course I believe in justice and ensuring that those who have been wronged are... Sorry, I'm really fucking tired. I've just lost words. Those who have committed crimes are brought to justice. But I think you might have to bring a little more than what you have now to really...
As leader,
to really make any such accusations, especially at Elara's coronation.
exactly. This is a coronation. As the head of the House of Law, representing the Golden Order of Sacramar, I did not come expecting to meet the most wanted criminal in Sacramar amongst its midst. I give you my word that there is more than enough evidence to convict this one, if only they were to face justice. And rest assured, I want them to face justice, as I'm sure you do, whatever that justice entails. Looking at Quan. Good. I'm glad we were in agreement.
Well, if you'll not carry my message over to the High Praetor, would you at
I
least
certainly will not.
would you at least see to it then that my nose is corrected in the wanted posters? And now that you've seen the real thing, I think you'll agree they're not quite a full likeness, are they? I'm sure you want to be as accurate as possible in your representations of me.
It's a long, drawn-out sigh. Your glibness belies a guilty conscience.
No, it's confidence, actually. It really is all just confidence.
At that point,
I'm
Arvis
confident.
goes,
Your glibness, that's a title I've not heard before.
Oh, glibness. No. Is it me? Maybe. We can try it out for a little bit, maybe.
Sighs, turns on a heel, and says, "I sure I'll be seeing you again."
I cannot wait.
One. think upon these words and who you choose to travel with. Oh, the Amaranthia?
Well, I will no longer wish to be in the company of such a villainous cretin.
Understood.
Good day.
Fair enough. Good day to you
Hey.
too. Good day, my lady.
She storms away.
And under
Mercy,
Casimir's breath, he just mutters, "Fucking witch."
Mercy and Lady Montague leave. Well, I'll say my interruptions or whatever
have
leave
something
there.
to add.
Yes.
And that was as she was walking away. Arvis would pipe up and say,
By the heavens! On Lady Alara's special day. What a terrible thing to say about Lady Alara.
Make a performance check.
Does he get assistance
me
if
with my
Casimir
-2 to charisma?
Does he get advantage if Casimir helps? And it's like, goodness, I could never. She doesn't
Yeah,
deserve
go for it.
that.
With a -2,
Alright.
good luck.
Yeah, man, let's roll that -2 things. So that's deception, is it?
No performance.
Guidance do anything here?
Yeah.
Maybe some of the group saying things would help.
I've confirmed the help action.
Okay,
I'm off with guidance.
so
That's the
that
best I
would
can do.
be advanced dice roller. There's a lot of numbers going in here. So it's -2.
Mm-hmm.
Plus a
Rolled
D4.
advantage. How do I fucking do that in the advanced dice roller?
What?
Fuck it, I'm gonna roll 2d20s.
Just hold down the shift button on D&D Beyond.
Yes, yes, actually that will work. And then yeah, that's right.
Wait, you hold down the shift.
Control actually. Yeah, shift for
Control.
advantage, control for disadvantage. Oh, sorry, you're right. Yeah, it's shift for advantage in this case. Yeah.
Day I've learned.
So that is a 16. Let's roll a d4 on top of that bad B.
Come on,
Plus 2. So that is an 18.
Okay. Yeah, a couple of people nearby and say, "Oh, can you believe the house of Lords about Loris?" He begins to like scuttle away. Rumors begin to spread, and we'll plant that seed, and I'll decide what's going to happen with it as Amaranthia and Lady Montague begin to leave. And I will get there as a quiet period. There are a couple of things you guys could do as the coronation begins to wind down. What, if you would like to talk to one of the Archons, if you would like to approach somebody in particular, do let me know.
Yes, anyone can go first, but I have somebody.
Do it.
Yeah. I suppose it would just simply be anybody who looks notably wealthy and.
This is a collection of some of the richest people in Lukai, but I will make you roll a. I will say that you can roll. I'm just going to make you roll a flat D100 for not getting the wrong person, and then you can make the rest of the rolls.
As a man of great investigation,
That's fine.
perhaps I could case my joint first rather than.
Yeah, you
use
can
the
give yourself
D100.
advantage on. You can give yourself advantage on the D100 roll if you roll over a 15 investigation.
That's not the same as a +7 to investigation, though, is that a D20?
Oh, it's a 25% chance.
That doesn't feel right, man.
This is a room of some of the most powerful
Yeah.
and
Do you mean
wealthy
powerful
people in
in terms of
Lukai.
influence, or do you
No.
mean powerful in terms
Powerful.
of physically
Both.
powerful?
Both.
Yeah, so I'm asking who's like big on the administration hype, but not so big on the spectacles hype.
That's fine. That's what the investigation rolls for.
Okay, so I'll roll Investigado in that case.
Then
All right, let's see what
D100.
comes out after that. So it's come out as an 18. Is that good?
Yep. So you have advantage on your D100.
Okay.
Please go for Abaddon.
You're looking for over 50.
Fucking hell, bruv. This feels a bit weird, doesn't it? All right.
Pickpocket Abaddon in like the most unbelievably misguided attempt at the theft.
Oh,
Can
it's
you
a
roll
cloud.
D100 from D&D Beyond?
Oh, that cloud looks like it has deep
I-
pockets.
I'm not sure you
Oh, you
can,
can
Luke.
do that.
Oh, can you?
No, not at advantage. Yeah, but not at advantage like that. Unfortunately, you can't use the.
Roll two. Just roll twice.
Just roll twice, right?
Yeah, cool. I'll just do it on the on the fang. 1, 2. So I got a 72 and a 69. Gee.
Hey.
Yeah, very good. Positive. Arvis, you realize that probably the most influential and powerful and rich, but not necessarily the most intimidating, are most of the Creditors Federation. You're like, I know these idiots. They're the people with the money who don't necessarily pay attention. So you begin to go around casing them.
Cool. What now, dear?
We'll deal with that offline, as I know we're getting towards the end of the session. So I will send you some roll tables over the break. Anybody else anybody wants to talk to?
I would like to see if the young Ivor Montague is free. Probably he feels as though he cannot directly approach him. So maybe he'll wait for a moment where he's by the snack table. I presume there is a snack table.
Ivor, unfortunately, has been grabbed by his mother. However, you will have an opportunity later.
By the ear.
Yeah.
We are
Poor
leaving.
guy. Poor guy. In which case, I suppose he networks and small talks.
Cool. This will be your one and only opportunity to talk to Abaddon about what happened.
Yeah.
It was floated last time. Whether or not you want to will be up to you now.
Oh, guys, I really want to ask Abaddon about Bane and Vecna. Should I do it?
Yeah, do it.
All right.
Mercy won't approve of this. But
All right.
You should do it.
All right.
What's
okay.
the worst that
Okay.
could happen?
Does anyone talk to Abaddon? Are they just looming as
No.
a black cloud?
The clouds got like the faces kind of disappeared, and there is just like the vague fog hanging there, as if like almost like ceremonial, as if they do not expect anybody to talk to them.
How would one address Abaddon the Despoiler?
I think Archon is fine.
Okay.
Who else is going with? Are you alone,
Am I alone?
Pod?
I
Give
would
me-
not. Go up to talk to Abaddon. No, I would not. But
Arvis?
as dumb as he can appear, he's not that dumb.
Okay.
Arvis, hooded, will. Yeah, he will go with looking like the old, frail fucking clergy boy he is.
Okay. Oh, God.
Quan? If you're there, Quan?
What do I know about Abaddon? Can you remind me?
You probably know Precious. Actually, in your study to the Lara, Abaddon is the leader of Abaddon's empire, a cut off part of the world, and your Bran and what you've been told about what Bran did on you would have spent much of your life, if that's true, defending against Abaddon's empire. Abaddon's empire is obviously the Archon of Pandemonium, of Chaos, is a stain upon Lukai. The attempt is to reach out, gain dominance and control, sow seed and spread chaos throughout Lukai, and your service would have been fighting and protecting against Abaddon and their minions.
All right, that's a solid no from me, Chief. Then.
Okay, Jamie, I don't know if there's any way that this would be known. Would I have any inkling as to whether or not Abaddon would be an enemy to Bane and Vecna?
You have no idea.
But I want to know.
Okay.
Okay,
So this is you with Arvis.
okay.
And
How
for
much
reference,
speed you got?
Arvis is holding onto your arm as if he is like being an old geezer being led. Do you know what I mean?
I think
How much HP have you got?
like 37.
Great. 14d6 is quite a high roll.
Don't threaten me with a good time. Okay. I think he will approach.
Oh, 52. Nice. Sorry, please go on.
He will approach Abaddon. And Honored Lord Archon, I apologize for interrupting your reverie and the festivities. I pray you have had a most joyful day. I come beseeching your immortal wisdom on a topic most troubling that has of late been entering my dreams, and I wished for the confirmation, or the succor, the peace of the confirmation of a name. Would you do me the honor, and how might I repay the favor of identifying the name Vecna for me?
Make a persuasion roll.
Yeah. Natural one.
Wait, one second.
Cool. We'll leave that until next session. Thank you everyone for watching. I'm sure you had a wonderful time. And that was Alara's coronation with some drama associated it. And I don't need you to roll. I don't need to roll 6 and D4. What is it? Is it 6 D4? Or sorry, I need you to roll 6 lots of 5 D4 D6s.
Should I roll the new character for next?
For next time, that'd be great. Thank you. Yeah, we'll deal with that as you approach the cloud and trembling, more nervous than perhaps you ever had, stuttering over words.
I think
out.
compared to meeting Bane in his dreams, this is less
Yeah.
scary. I do. I feel
Okay, but in that one, still.
Meeting who?
Meeting who?
Bane.
Who's that?
Bay.
Who's that?
Sorry, I don't know.
What's
Oh,
that?
Bay. I'm meeting
Bay.
Bay in the dream.
Bay.
Oh, fair enough. Fair
I
enough.
met Bay.
Sorry.
Nice.
Natural one. We'll leave this until next time. Thank you everyone for watching.
Yep. I think I fucked up.
As you mentioned the name, the unspeakable name that nobody so far knows, to the only entity in Lukai who may remember it.
I have a negative wisdom score. I had to do this. Okay, great, fantastic. See you next week. I personally won't see you next week because I'll be dead. But the rest of you
You can actually make plans for next Wednesday.
Yeah.
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 You've
great.
got like dinner at like 8 or something. That'd be fine. Matt.
I can't believe I've done this. I'm actually
You say
really
you get your
fucked
dinner reservation
up.
going.
Honestly,
I rate it so much, Creed.
two
You've got
glasses of
mad
prosecco, and
mad respect for you.
and I've killed my.
No respect to
But
that one.
You got to swing for the fences sometimes. You know, like
You do.
you know, you got to buy a ticket. You got to buy a ticket, right?
Yeah.
You did.
Yeah. Great. Well.
I'll be honest, I didn't see
One-way
the one.
ticket.
I didn't see the one, but
I didn't foresee that for myself. No. I
Ticket
thought
to
I
Hades.
spoke good. Good. Right. Goodbye.
Fuck.
See you next week. Bye.